Welcome back, best ever listeners, to another episode of Passive Investor Tips. I'm your host, Travis Watts. In today's episode, what we're talking about is the pain of discipline or regret. Disclaimers as always, never financial advice, not telling you or anyone what to do with your money. So please always seek licensed financial advice when it comes to your own investing. With that top of mind, today's title was actually inspired by a Jim Rohn quote when he once said, "We must all suffer from one of two things, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret." And as this pertains to investing in finance, the truth is that financial success requires a lot of discipline. And I think that's often overlooked by a lot of people. It's just not a lot of emphasis gets put there because the media, the news, the stories, the movies that we all see really hone in on the emphasis of the outcome. You know, look how successful this person is. Look what this billionaire is doing. They focus very little on the journey that it actually took to get that result in the first place. Now, as this pertains to the pain of regret, I think there's far too many people out there in the workforce that are working into their late 60s, early 70s, sometimes even their late 70s, and unfortunately are passing away while still in their working years. You know, if you think about it as we only live once and you basically were a child for a very short time, then you went to school to learn how to become an employee, and then you held a job up until your 70s, and then you passed away while working. It's not a very inspiring journey, to say the least. So what's the answer? What are we all supposed to do? That's a big question, but I think it's worth unpacking. And I don't sit here and claim to have all of life's answers for you, but I do think there's a few things worth mentioning. So first of all, just accepting that life is going to require sacrifice and pain is a great starting point. So as Jim Rohn points out, are you going to choose discipline or regret? Now, assuming that you choose discipline, the next question that you should ask yourself is, are you prepared to dedicate to life on this? It's a lot like having kids. This is a lifelong commitment. So is it something you're prepared to fully embrace? And I also think it's worth considering, what's the outcome? What will you achieve if you do dedicate to discipline for life? Is it early retirement? Is it financial freedom? Is it more time with family and friends? Is it having better health? Is it living longer? And I would argue that these things are worth the sacrifice, but that's just my personal opinion. And you know, a lot of this pursuit to freedom or financial freedom and making episodes like I do and sharing this content with you guys really stems from my background and my own family and my own experience early on. For example, my grandfather, Carl, he passed away 8 months before I was born. So I never even got a chance to meet him or spend time with him. And his son, Anthony, so my uncle, I called him Uncle Buddy, died when he was 58 years old, still working, never got a chance to retire, and didn't really get a chance to know me. I didn't really know him. And that's a big regret. And in reflection of these examples and many other family members of mine who have passed early that I never really got a chance to spend time with, I was recently on a vacation with my dad, who's now in his 70s. And guys, I just can't articulate how grateful I am to have the time that I have with my dad. The fact that he gets to know his grandkids, you know, and vacation and actually be retired and be in good health. And truth be told, a lot of this really came from investing in real estate and passive income. You know, a lot of that stuff wore off on me when I was a kid, and I got to see how powerful it was. And as I always say, it's, to me anyway, it's not about money. It's about time freedom. It's about time with your kids, your grandkids. It's about doing what you want to do on your terms and not passing away mid-career like so many people do, or being forced to work a job that's unfulfilling that you don't want to do. So in any case, I know this was an interesting episode, a short episode, but I guess I kind of needed to get some of that off of my chest. So I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you being here. As always, something to think about for the week. Will you choose discipline or regret? You're listening to Passive Investor Tips. I'm your host, Travis Watts. If I can ever be a resource or help you in any way, don't hesitate to reach out. Until the next episode, have a best ever week, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon.